question here.
In 1993, the community wasn't so aware of the potential disasters coming from coal seam gas exploration and mining. In 2011, the community, as you well know, is very aware of the disasters that come with this industry. So if your company is so concerned about listening to the community, is so open to being transparent, is so confident about its processes, why don't you accept the community view that there should be a full investigation into the industry, a moratorium on all coal seam drilling and exploration first, then a full inquiry, maybe a royal commission that can subpoena witnesses into the industry to actually find out exactly what is happening to the water tables, exactly what is the produced water contains and where it goes, and all the other aspects of this industry that obviously farmers and city dwellers are so concerned about.
I agree.
You agree with the moratorium?
We agree that an inquiry is quite appropriate. We don't think a moratorium is appropriate. We've got operations to conduct, and we think that we're very proud of how we do our things. We think that they're very safe and sufficient, sustainable. But the inquiry will actually let people hear what the industry is, not what it isn't. So we're quite proud of how the industry works. There's a lot of benefits about it. We don't see the impacts that are bandied about in some of the press. And we're quite confident that an inquiry will set the coal seam gas industry in a good light. Yeah, look, we can try and make as much information as we can available. So, and I'll admit that our website's pretty poor in terms of providing community information. I'll be the first to admit that. And that's something that we're really to improve on, and we'll definitely take that on.
My name is Paul. I'm from the Sydney Residents Against Coal Seam Gas. Over here. One of you said that you need to know what's under the ground. Well, with all due respect, the community here is actually worried about what's above the ground. Our homes, our communities, our schools, our parks, and so on. So I want to build on what a couple of the others have said, and while there's a lot of media here, a lot of people watching about what we're here for tonight, the Sydney Residents Group, along with coal seam gas community groups all across the country, have three basic demands, and I think we should put those demands to the meeting tonight. I'd like to put those so we can see and the community can express their view on those demands, and the media can also capture that about these three basic demands. Those demands are a royal commission into coal seam gas mining and all of its health environment impacts. Our Royal Commission has the most powers to compel witnesses, to compel companies and scientists and so forth. That's one. The second is a moratorium. Now, for you to say you support an inquiry but don't support a moratorium is basically saying we don't care what the information comes up with. We're going ahead, hell for leather. Well, the community is saying, your boss has just flown out of here. Well, we can't fly out of here. Yeah. This is our homes. These are our schools. And there's no way you're going to start drilling our communities before such an inquiry. And the third thing is an absolute ban on fracking. Not we don't intend to frack, not we don't particularly want to frack. There's no intention to frack. Ban the frack. This is a question to everyone here. That's what democracy is about. That's what community is about. So I think if we support those demands of the Sydney Residents Group, a moratorium on gas seam mining, a royal commission, and a ban on fracking, we should indicate that to the company. Please raise your hands. Please raise that for the media. Take this back to Robert, please. It's a shame that a meeting that he was involved in organising, he had to leave early. And I can tell you that no matter what you come up with, the community is going to rally, and we're going to be rallying out on September And you need to actually listen to the community about what's above the ground, be more worried about what's above the ground than what's under the ground.
Okay. Does anyone ask a comment?
I'm Stella, I'm from Unwins Bridge Road. I would like to offer some clarification, which I'm not sure if I'm directing at the government or at DART or both, but consultation is a two-way process where decisions aren't reached until the consultation is finished. So I'd like the language to be changed to information, because you're not showing signs of consultation either at the government or at a community level. It is a farce to call it consultation when there is no open end. You've already indicated that you're not willing to change your decisions based on the community, only on what you find in the ground. But what I would like to ask you is, have there been examples of communities being able to overturn gas drilling in their communities due to community activity? Can you give us examples? Because either we want to know, Montana. And St Peters will be next.
A couple of things have been said, which we probably just should get back to. A matter of the Royal Commission, look, I think it's an excellent idea, but it's not up to us, it's up to the people in the front row here. So I think that if they'd like to answer that one, that's fine, but it's up to the people in the front row. Now, you did ask another question, and you said that would the company, sorry, you may have asked a question, would the company be only considering what I said, composition, content, permeability? No, they're not the only things. But if you remember, ma'am, I put the microphone down because I did not finish the question. Now, the gentleman up the back said, fracking, can we guarantee no fracking in St Peters? Look, I think we probably can, but we don't have the information. We don't have the information to answer that.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
I was just going to say the government's banned it to the end of the year anyway.
We're only talking about exploration at this stage, so we won't be doing any fracking before the end of the year. But importantly, the coal under Sydney is not conducive to fracking.
Excuse me.
Do you understand what I mean?
This is the last question.
My name is Hans. I'm an occupational health and safety advisor for a construction company. I'd like to make a reference to the Larkard meeting recently, where there was a couple of retired mining engineers. One of the things with this coal seam gas is that it's not new. It's been around since the 40s, but it was shut down because it was never commercially viable until fracking came along. Every mining engineer you talk to will tell you that you're not going to get any gas at all unless you frack. So if you're not going to frack, what's the point of drilling an exploratory well?
DART Energy has said that we won't be fracking, but we also have said that surface in-seam drilling is the technology which we believe can access the gas from certain sorts of coal seams that aren't conducive to fracking. Now, probably. That's right. No, I said we probably wouldn't because you need to drill exploration holes to find out what you really have under your feet. Now, importantly, fracking, what I can tell you is that the petroleum wells that have been drilled in Sydney typically produce about 10,000 cubic feet a day of gas from the coal seams. You can go and look that information up. But that's not commercial, okay? 10,000 cubic feet a day is not commercial. Now, when you frack a coal seam, you typically increase the production rate by a factor of 3. That's the global average. 30,000 cubic feet a day. That is not commercial. And that's why I say we probably won't be fracking coal seams under Sydney, because the coal seams under Sydney aren't conducive to fracking. Now, if you'd like to talk about that...
Probably is not a very reassuring word.
Well, I did mention one word called surface in-seam drilling.
Must have some idea how much you've done
In the central Sydney Basin area, the coal seams are regularly fractured in a northwest and southeast striking orientation. Those fractures, if you tried to frack in that area, your energy would just go shooting along these fractures, and you would get no enhancement to your bulk to permeability. Now, if you do horizontal in-seam drilling, where you drill from the surface, vertically down, Coal seams are more or less horizontal. Drill horizontally through the coal seam, perpendicular to these fractures. You can then rely on those fractures to deliver your gas. Fracking is difficult to work in those sort of circumstances.
That's just fracking by a different name.
No, there's no. It's just a borehole. Yeah, big drill straight through. There's no fracking at all. There's no energy put in the ground to in horizontal drilling in that circumstance to release the gas. There's no energy put in apart from drilling that borehole.
The simple fact is the people who decide whether these guys can go ahead and do this particular business, two of them are sitting right here in this front row, and there's others here I think who believe they stood up before for past elections. If you run out of your licence in October and then you renew for 3 years, that falls due to the 2014. My understanding is the next state election is in 2015. So guys, it's not looking very good for them. We can pick on these guys, which I think we need to do, but right in front of us are the people that make that decision if they get that licence or not. They're the people we have to argue at as well.
Exactly, and that's our segue to move forward. Look at the